It stood as one of the greatest riddles in the story of our species, a question that has troubled scientists, archaeologists, and philosophers for centuries. Where did modern humans truly originate? For generations, the answer appeared simple, even reassuring. A single birthplace in Africa, one ancestral population, a neat and linear origin story. Yet beneath that orderly explanation, buried deep within our own DNA, lay a truth far older, far stranger, and far more intricate than anyone had imagined. For decades, researchers searched fossil beds, desert escarpments, and ancient river valleys, hunting for the precise moment humanity began. But the real breakthrough did not come from skulls or bones. It came from something far smaller and far more enduring, genetic echoes preserved inside every living human. And thanks to a powerful new method developed at the University of Cambridge, we now understand that the story of our origin does not begin with one ancestral population, but two. According to this groundbreaking analysis, modern humans are not the descendants of a single lineage. Instead, we are the product of two ancient human groups that split roughly 1.5 million years ago, long before Homo sapiens or Neanderthals walked the earth. For more than 1 million years, these two populations lived separate lives, shaped by shifting climates, collapsing ecosystems, and the isolation imposed by Africa's vast deserts and fractured landscapes. Then, around 300,000 years ago, something extraordinary occurred. During a time when the Sahara transformed into a green world of rivers and lakes, a so-called green Sahara, these long-separated populations encountered one another again, and when they did, they merged, setting off a chain of events that would permanently alter the destiny of our species. Unlike later encounters with Neanderthals and Denisovans, which left only faint traces in our genome, this ancestral union was immense. One lineage contributed roughly 80% of our DNA. The other, a long-lost ghost population with no confirmed fossil remains, supplied the remaining 20%. Their bodies have never been discovered, their tools, their faces, their names erased by time. Yet their genetic fingerprint lives within every human alive today, pointing to a chapter of human evolution written not in stone, but in code. To uncover this hidden history, researchers analyzed tens of thousands of modern genomes from the 1,000 Genomes Project. Instead of relying on ancient bones, they used an algorithm known as COBRA to reconstruct the distant past, rewinding genetic history by modeling how ancient populations split, shrank, expanded, and merged. When global human genomes were fed into the system, the model revealed something astonishing. Immediately after the initial split, one lineage suffered a severe bottleneck, shrinking to just a handful of individuals before slowly recovering over the next million years. This same lineage would later give rise to Neanderthals, Denisovans, and the majority of modern human ancestry. The other group remained small, isolated, and genetically distinct, a quiet branch of humanity drifting through deep time. When these two populations finally met again during the lush green Sahara period, their reunion reshaped human evolution. But not every gene blended cleanly. Natural selection began filtering out incompatible traits in a process known as purifying selection. Many genes from the ghost population disappeared, but those linked to brain development, particularly genes involved in neural processing and language, persisted. Among them was the FOPX2 gene, long associated with speech and linguistic ability. This suggests that our capacity for complex language may have roots far deeper than once believed, shared with early humans like Homo heidelbergensis long before Sapiens emerged. It also hints that these ancient humans were not limited to simple grunts, but may have used structured, meaningful language far earlier than we imagined. Around the same period, another transformation swept across Africa, a technological revolution known as the Levallois technique. Instead of crudely shaping stone tools, early humans began planning each tool in advance, mentally visualizing the final form before delivering a single, precise strike to release it from a prepared core. This was a leap in cognition, abstraction, and mathematical planning, and it coincided almost perfectly with the merging of our two ancestral lineages. The timing suggests a possible link between genetic change and sudden bursts of innovation. Fossil evidence offers clues about who these ancestors may have been. The lineage contributing roughly 80% of our DNA appears closely aligned with Homo heidelbergensis, a powerful, broad-faced human with a large brain and a talent for endurance hunting. The minority lineage, the mysterious 20%, resembles late Homo erectus, the great explorer of the ancient world, the first master of fire, the first long-distance traveler, and the first true global wanderer of our genus. Two very different kinds of humans, devoted hunters and tireless explorers, brought together by climate chance and the shifting landscapes of prehistoric Africa. Their union was not seamless. Many Erectus-derived genes clashed with the dominant lineage and were lost, but others, especially those influencing cognition, endured. In the end, natural selection did what it always does. It preserved what worked and discarded what didn't. What remained was a genome shaped by both strength and curiosity, endurance and innovation, instinct and imagination. In a sense, modern humans are the refined synthesis of two ancient worlds, the best of both lineages. This merger, occurring around 300,000 years ago, aligns precisely with the earliest fossils identified as Homo sapiens. The Jebel Irhoud remains in Morocco, and later the Homo fossils in Ethiopia, were not isolated evolutionary bursts. They were the physical expression of a genetic event already unfolding behind the scenes. The discovery does not dismantle the out-of-Africa model, it deepens it. It replaces the image of a single origin point with a far more dynamic Africa, teeming with ancient human groups that split, drifted, separated, reunited, and exchanged genes over hundreds of thousands of years. Humanity did not arise from a straight line, but from a braided river of ancient populations. Remarkably, all of this was uncovered not by digging into the earth, but by digging into ourselves. The clues were there all along, encoded in our cells, whispered from ancestors who walked the African plains 1,000,000 years before us. This revelation reshapes our understanding of human origins. It shows that our species was forged not from one lineage, but from a meeting, a blending of two distant human worlds, a fusion that produced a new kind of being capable of innovation, reflection, storytelling, and wonder. And it reminds us that our history is deeper, richer, and far more intertwined than we ever imagined. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into our ancient origins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore more stories that continue to transform our understanding of humanity. Until next time.